Good evening. Once again, we return to the story of Caius, Spellsword, Dunmer, Eternal Champion, an overburdened former agent of the Emperor and current initiate in the Blades right now, but for those of you who do not recall last week, we made great progress in liberating some of the artifacts found in Vardenfell, and we are currently stuck trying to lighten the load. Yes, even Mr. Cossades is impressed by our haul. So first things first, let's build the potions that we can. Actually, I will admit, I'm a little surprised that I think I am going to pick up the well, before I do that, if I don't have anything to improve my magicka, or restore magicka, which I suspect I don't, then that'll move on with the rest. Unfortunately, this is right at the start, and there's going to be some crafting. But the good news is, for those of you who are coming late, you won't miss as much. So I think my usual answer on a lot of this is I try and make utility potions first. So in this case here, the razor plumes. So that's habitation taken care of. And in fact, while I'm at it, let's just find, well, no, I'm going to hold off on that for a moment. But I think I will try and use whatever drain well power I can get, because I have a feeling there's going to be no shortage of plumes. Now I don't exactly need more restore. Actually, so normally I like getting rid of the single purpose materials, but I'm gonna hang on to the guama eggs until I find something that I actually need to restore fatigue for. So if I have if I have a surplus of one thing or the other, let's see if we have any fortified personality. Alright, so there's going to be a couple of things that I take out. So I tend to hang on to Stoneflower and Cranberry just because they are they're reagents to particularly useful potions. Restore Personality for Stoneflower and Restore Magicka for Cranberry. Now let's see if we've got any Cure Blight. We do. I'm actually going to take the ash salts and I'm going to put them in their own pile too, just because curing blight is something that's rather difficult for me to do. I really wonder if there's a way for me to sell. Like, surely there's something better I can put in the Grand Soul Gem than just a Nyx Hound. I did have a something that wasn't a feather, but it had 3. Yes, I did originally want water breathing. So let's see if I can get any of those, and then we'll clear out the rest because I should have more than enough. No shortage of it seems. But I'm going to wind up selling those. That's a shame. I should have paid closer attention. Alright. So drain fatigue or poison. Now, had I been thinking, I would have tried to find the other poison one to see. Yep, I already cleaned them out. Alright, let's try and find a drain fatigue. And one of the reasons why I usually go for one of the reasons why I usually go for the negative ones are there's no confusion about wanting to keep them. I can usually sell them off. Gonna make an exception here and take the heather, which I have entirely too much of. So let's find some drain personality. Should have seen if that was good for anything else. No, we're fine. You know, cure paralysis sounds like something that's really helpful to have. Let's see whether or not I can. Alright, where were we? Yes, the Heather. I don't think we have any more to our personality. So let's just double check. Drain speed. Alright, so unless I want to do feather or restore person, well, let's do our best. Sort of breaking my rule on making only sort of negative potions, but this has cut down on my Heather quite a bit. Apologies for all the background noise. Apparently, it's a very active apartment while I'm recording. All right. I should probably just take the Heather out of the list. It's the best way to attack this. I think I'll go for whatever I have the most of. So let's find everything that we can do drain willpower with. Actually, no, sorry, I'm gonna stick with my plan. I'm gonna focus only on negatives first. So, drain strength, drain health. Health and luck. Fatigue. I do not understand why I don't know if any of you can hear this. I do not understand why the same apartment door needs to be closed and opened 7 times in a row during a lockdown. Alright. I think we're at the point where we're cleaning up everything we can get, so let's start with Restore Fatigue. Alright, it was Restore Fatigue and Fortify Health, I think. I think it was Resist Fire. Yeah, Resist Fire and Light. Alright, so it's Restore Fatigue and Restore Health. Again, I don't know if you guys can hear this in the background, but this is very distracting. Restore Fatigue, Restore Health, and Fortify Magicka. Alright, I think we're getting at the end here. So Fortify, Intelligence, and Strength. Burden, Restore Strength. poison, and then the water. Cure and resist poison. Nothing with poison. Alright. Not a bad run. That's a lot of materials we just got rid of. And I am still encumbered. Why those were off. Alright, won't weigh so much. Oh, of course. So I'm actually going to use that sword. Possibly. Alright, this is going to be a little awkward, but... Alright, I think those books are going to need to get dealt with now. Alright, I'm pretty sure we don't have this Sermon 16. Aedra and Daedra, now we might already have that. I would have thought we had Aedra and Daedra, but apparently not. Wait, do I have 2 copies of Darkest Darkness? You know what? This is going to take a while, but it's going to be a lot faster than the alternative. No, but before I do that,
Aedra and Daedra. The designations of gods, demons, Aedra, and Daedra are universally confusing to the layman. They are often used interchangeably. Aedra and Daedra are not relative terms. They are elvish and exact. Azura is a Daedra both in Skyrim and Morrowind. Aedra is usually translated as ancestor, which is as close as Cyrodiilic can come to this elven concept. Daedra means roughly, not our ancestors. This distinction was crucial to the Dunmer, whose fundamental split in ideology is represented in their mythical genealogy. Aedra are associated with stasis. Daedra represent change. Aedra created the mortal world and are bound to the Earthbones. Daedra, who cannot create, have the power to change. As part of the divine contract of creation, the Aedra can be killed, witness Lorcan and the Moons. The Protean Daedra, for whom the rules do not apply, can only be banished.
I'm pretty sure we've read Ancestors and the Dunmer. Yes, we have. Almost certainly read Arcade the Enemy. Yes, we have. Blasphemous Revenants. I don't think we have that, so.
Blasphemous revenants, not into the world nor out of it, but between worlds they linger, held to the hearth and tomb by blood and loyalty. And if they come unbidden, from love of kin or faith to duty, it is not unholy. It is but the answering of the ancestors, the awakening of those who never sleep, the summoning to service of those bound through hearth and house to the protection of the clan. But if sorcerers bring them forth, then such summons are blasphemy, an abomination before the tribes and temple, and a sin so great that ages of burning cannot cleanse the fault.
We may have read this before.
Abide not the sorcerer among you, for he comes to steal the bones of your fathers and the dust from your tombs.
We read this last one. I believe we've already seen the Mystery of Talara. I think we've already done. Alright, the rest of these I'm pretty sure we've read, so. This was intended to be another stack, so the reason I am doing it this way yeah, I got a lot of weight to deal with even without the axe. Alright, I'll just have to make do. So the aim here is, first up, take the lessons. Alright. That's dealt with. It's going to be on an angle, but I can live with that. Also, what I'm going to do is anything that is not numbered is going to go with this stack. the open ones a little bit differently. Life and Service, I don't remember if I've read
that. The ranks of the blessed. Blessed are the bone men, for they serve without self in the spirit forever. Blessed are the mist men, for they blend in the glory of the transcendent spirit. Blessed are the wrath men, for they render their rage into the ages. Blessed are the masters, for they bridge the past and span the future. The litany of service, the bone men's oath. We die, we pray, to live we serve. The master's voice, you swore to serve your Lord.
So maybe we did read that one. Oh boy. Just trying to get some space here at this point. Magical. Oh, but I messed it up. Wait, is there anything? That's a lot of weight. All right, I can still work with this. So the reason why I'm stacking them this very specific way is this is a duplicate. Well, now I know how to handle that. The reason I'm ordering it this very specific way is so that I can't believe I'm getting away with this. So where did Special Flora of Tamriel wind up going? Alright, they're all inside each other. Alright. Still over encumbered, but not as bad as it used to be. So this is going to give me the fastest way to find sort of doubled manuscripts. All right. So now I need to worry about open and numbered. I think I'll put them in two separate stacks. So the open ones I'll start with here. Gotta keep the numbered ones together though. Okay, it is the same book.
Where did I put that?
All right, finally.
Where did I put that?
Anything that is numbered. I was kind of hoping to keep all the books in one spot. Well, there seems to be a little room on the end of the bench. Now, I thought so the Anticipations. I didn't think we kept a copy of that, but let me just double check. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we have a copy of the Anticipations in here. So it would be under T. Yep. Alright, that's gonna mess with the system a little bit, but it's already been sort of played around with, so. And I'm almost certain we've got a copy of the Book of the Daedra here. Yep. Alright, so that's a little bit easier to manage when the time comes. Now what about the rest? can still move. Alright. Three-quarters of an hour in and we're... Oh. Spoke too soon. Well, that's fine actually, because I know I'm not actually going to use... Alright, damage-wise... Oh, that's a world of difference. Now, I would like to keep the Daedric longsword, but it seems to be a bit much given my current setup. But, alright, I'm gonna head out. I do want to bring it because I don't actually have a weapon that I'm proficient with, other than the axe. But I should try to sell what I can.
Yes, Amen. May you find all that you seek.
May I help you?
Hello, friend. I'm Dorisa Darvel. Welcome to Balmora. If you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it, or try anyway. And if it's a little advice that you'd like, that's fine too.
Oh, wow. I suppose I could have tried and trade for books I don't already have. But at some point I would like to get to Urshilaku Camp.
I must say I find you most interesting right now. Please go ahead.
You know what? I'm also getting rid of the spark arrows. Alright, well, we'll work with what we've got.
Friend?
Dunmer?
I don't know where to begin. It is such an honor to meet you.
Greetings and salutations. Probably nothing.
I suppose I could try and get some more of these. Holy smokes. First time I've been able to trade for that in a while.
I see you have great understanding. Welcome.
I must say, I find you most interesting right now. Please go ahead.
So people aren't going to want to buy the skooma. I have somebody who can get that off my hands. Not that much, though.
Warm day to you, friend. Welcome. Please speak.
Almost not worth it, but let's try and find something, oh, here we go. Not the blight disease. Basically, I'm just trying to find the heavy stuff to sell. So one of the big things here is, regardless of whether or not I've done all the deals I can, I've got enough space in my inventory to kind of continue on my journey.
What do you ask of me?
So I'll just
May
go
I help
pick up
you?
my last items and we'll start making
May you
our way.
find all that you seek.
We'll start making our way to Urshilaku Camp, but there are some places I want to try and sell as much as I can. Simply because it's the more I wait, I get rid of now, the more I'm going to be able to pick up when I'm at the Urshilaku Camp.
I'd be happy to talk. My pleasure, really.
Yeah. So we've got about 70 weight, which isn't great.
Yes, sir.
There are many creatures beyond the cities.
Easy way to dodge the traffic.
Revere knows why you are here. You want to buy Revere's famous Daedric weapons.
Something like that. So first thing I want to do is get rid of the extravagant shirts and robes and whatnot. might have been able to sell that, but not now. What? Alright, I'm gonna start with the skooma. Just because that becomes a liability.
What do you want?
Should have seen if there's anything I want to buy. Not really. For the amounts, it's not really worth it. Alright, so the rest is just selling potions.
Welcome to Balmora, council seat of House Lalu. How can I serve you?
How many potions can you buy? Yeah, worth a try. Alright, I see that's a good day's work.
You flatter me with your attention, Outlander.
It's very nice of her to say that as I walk right by her.
Oh, greetings. Welcome, friend. The day is
Maybe
yours.
talk.
What shall we talk about?
I'm Messalene Marion of the Breton Guild Guide. I provide instantaneous transport between the various Mages Guild halls on Vardenfell. What is your destination? I can also help with local information.
Alderaan, please. And this one's always tricky, but I do want to make the most of the money that I'm going to be generating.
That's it. She's gone too far. I'll see her disgraced before the council. Yes.
You don't say. All right. Realistically, what are we looking at here? A little over 4,000. It's an interesting question whether or not I want enchant or conjuration, because I haven't really enchanted anything yet, but I should. I think I'll still go down the path of conjuration, so let's start just as a base level. Let's do 10. Let's try. I'll go up to 12. Alright, so that's the thing I'm trying to avoid.
You're in good company, friend. Welcome.
I don't buy it. This will probably be the hardest one
An
because
honor
it's so
to be
expensive.
sure.
He's currently at 482.
An honor to be sure.
I might just have to swallow it. Swallow the, not the loss, but the extra weight. But let's try.
The sun and moons transform day to night, but what transforms the mind?
So it might have something to do with the time of day.
How do you do? May we talk?
Yep, he always resets. So, just gonna go back to being.
An honor, to be sure.
No, before I do that though.
An honor, to be sure.
At least get some of that back. Too much. And I don't think she's gonna want to buy anything.
I don't know where to begin. It is such an honor to meet you.
No, I genuinely don't remember if I found someone to buy a calcinator in another Mages Guild, so I'm going to take a brief moment and just see what we're working with.
With pleasure. Please, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Well met.
It's just as easy to load back.
An honor, to be sure. Well, I find myself in pleasant company. Please share your thoughts. Oh, greetings. How do you do? May we talk?
You're in good company,
I'd
friend.
be happy to talk.
Welcome.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I think we went on this journey last time and it didn't really turn out for me, so I think let's just see how much this thing weighs. 8. You know what? I don't really want to go through all the effort of going back home to get rid of it, so it's a shame, and I'm going to be carrying a lot of nonsense for no reason. But it's probably better. Well, no, I wouldn't say that about anything else. So put that back in the stack, back in Belmora.
Share your thoughts, friend. I enjoy the company.
How wonderful.
Yes, Outlander. What do you
Is
want?
there something you need?
I don't
So,
know what it
3
is about this
blessings.
bridge that makes the guards like it so much. Anyways, with all of that done, we will properly make our way to Urshilaku Camp.
I'd be happy to talk. My pleasure, really.
Under sun and sky.
Is there something you need?
Under sun
Is there
and
something
sky.
you need?
Fight well.
I'm very happy to make your acquaintance.
Welcome, Dunmer. Let's set aside our differences and talk, shall we?
What differences?
I must say, I find...
I can't imagine eating one.
How wonderful.
I'm in the wrong
Welcome,
place, not
Alfred.
Hyvek. Alderaan.
How about sharing the wealth? I've lots to show you.
Small for
I suppose I have a moment. What is it?
Alright, we have a bit of weight that we can deal with on our way to Urshilaku Camp. The important thing is that there's still things that I can sort of plunder on my way there. So I wanted to try and lighten up as much of the load as I could. I wonder what's going on the edge there. Oh yes, I think we've already dealt with this. I saved you.
What is it, Sarah?
I'm fine, thank you. What can I do for you?
Oh, nothing. I believe it was Margan where we were heading. Yes. Probably a little more than I wanted to spend, but
Where would you
not
like
that
to
bad.
go?
It's almost evening already. I'll take a quick minute here and see. Maybe in the outpost. I don't want to spend too much time finding someone who will buy my potions, but
Yes, Outlander, what do you want?
clearing up that space is ideal.
Come on, I haven't got all day to stand around and talk to you.
Fine.
Is there something you need?
Speak, traveler.
May I help you? Okay, Outlander, but make it quick. Let's hear it. Is there something
That was probably not worth the time, but... Alright, we're on our way to Urshilaku Camp. Again.
Is there something you need?
Oh, this reminds me I wasn't able to try and fix that problem we were encountering before, so... There may be a crash that we need to deal with. Try and avoid it as much as possible. You make good time. Now, there was one hut that I didn't visit because of the crash, and I'm a little tempted to try it this time, but we'll see. So that looks like a very tempting little side journey. But I'll resist the temptation for now. Again, who's raising sheep in this Foyada? expected a Kigauti to give me that much trouble. I believe this was an egg mine. Oh yes, I remember this. I'm not going to avoid every adventure opportunity that comes up, but the ones that involve long journeys off other pathways, I think I can exercise some restraint. Especially because presumably we have a trip back. Still don't like getting wet. But it is in the service of the Emperor, so... very picturesque. All right, now. Just to reorient ourselves. We've already raided that. And I'm sorry, but I can't help myself. Alright, there's probably a lower level here. Now we're ready. Ow! Stop that. realize I had so much health now.
Is at an end.
These will be handy. So one thing I've neglected to do is just check the corners to see if there's any keys or anything of interest. Usually... Yep. When you wind up on this level, it's just a question of being informed that there's a lower level with more interesting stuff. So that's clearly not it. I'm hoping it worked. So either these things can't be trapped, or the fact that maybe I just don't have something powerful enough, but I'm gonna guess that's a Nyx Hound. Here. I'm gonna try something. Yeah. Not quite the effect I was looking for. Ah, all right. Yeah, so I'm trying to find, I'm fairly certain, yeah, I've got, fortify health for forever on this item. Just trying to figure out how that works. See if it's fortify health on self. Okay, well, just for the sake of the argument. Why anyone would do it. All right. So leave it to the professionals is the story I'm getting out of that. It is a shame I can't seem to release the soul, though. Again, we'll find the heavy restore health. If there is one. Making trouble for myself. Sure. Ooh, destruction.
A Hypothetical Treachery, a one-act play by Anthil Morvir. Dramatis Personae, Malvasian, a high elf battle mage. Inzalaya, a dark elf battle mage. Dulcetus, a Cyrodiil healer. Shiavis, an Argonian barbarian, a ghost, and some bandits. Scene, Eldenwood. As the curtain rises, we see a misty labyrinthian landscape of the legendary Elden Grove of Valenwood. All around, we hear wolves howling. A bloodied reptilian figure, Shiavis, breaks through the branches of one of the trees and surveys the areas. It's clear. Inzalaya, a beautiful dark elf mage, climbs down from the tree helped by the barbarian. There is a sound of footsteps nearby. Shiavis readies his sword, and Inzalaya prepares to cast a spell. Nothing comes out. You're bleeding. You should have Dulcetus heal that for you. He's still drained from all the spells that we had to cast while we were down in the caves. I'm fine. If we get out of this and no one needs it more, I'm fine. If we get out of this and no one needs it more, I'll take the last potion of healing. Where's Malvasian? Malvasian, a high elf battle mage, and Dulcetus, a Cyrodiil healer, emerge from the tree carrying a heavy chest between the two of them. They awkwardly try to get down from the tree carrying their loot. Malvasian. Here I am, though why I'm carrying the heavy load is beyond me. I've always thought that the advantage of dungeon delving with a great barbarian was that he carried all the loot. If I carried that, my hands would be too full to fight, and tell me if I'm wrong, but not one of these three of you has enough magicka reserve to make it out of here alive. Not after you electrified and blasted all those homunculuses down below ground. Homunculi. Don't worry, I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do. What's that? Kill you all and take the ebony mail for myself. Admit it, you thought that's what I had in mind. What a perfectly horrible thought. I never thought that anyone, no matter how vile and degenerate. Why not? He needs porters, like he said. He can't carry the chest and fight off all the inhabitants of Eldergrove both. By Stendar, all the mean, conniving, typically Argonian. And why do you need me alive? I don't necessarily, except that you're prettier than the other two, for Smoothskin, that is. And if something comes after us, it might go for you first. There's a noise in some bushes nearby. Go check that out. It's probably a wolf. These woods are filled with them. You check it out. You have a choice, Inzalaya. Go and you might live. Stay here and you definitely won't. Inzalaya considers this and then goes into the bushes. Shevis to Malvasian and Dulcetus. The King of Silvanar will pay good money for the mail, and we can divide it more nicely between 3 than 4. You're so right. Excuse me. Inzalaya suddenly levitates up to the top of the stage. A semi-transparent ghost appears from the bush and rushes at the next person, who happens to be Shevis. As the barbarian screams and thrashes at it with his sword, it levels blasts of whirling gas at him. He crumbles to the ground. It turns next to Dulcetus, the healer, and as the ghost focuses its feasting chill on the hapless Dulcetus, Malvasian casts a ball of flame at it, and that causes it to vaporize into the misty air. Inzalaya floats back down to the ground as Malvasian examines the bodies of Dulcetus and Shevis, who are both white-faced from the draining power of the ghost. Malvasian, you have some magicka reserved after all. So did you. Are they dead? Malvasian takes the potion of healing from Dulcetus's pack. Yes, fortunately the potion of healing wasn't broken when he fell. I guess this just leaves the two of us to collect the reward. We can't get out of this place without each other, like it or not. The two battle mages pick up the chest and begin plodding carefully through the undergrowth, pausing from time to time at the sound of footsteps and other eerie noises. Let me make sure I understand. You have a little bit of magicka left, so you elected to use it to make Shevis the ghost's target, forcing me to use most of my limited reserve to destroy the creature so I wouldn't be more powerful than you. That's first-rate thinking. Thank you. It's only logical. Do you have enough power to cast any other spells? Naturally. An experienced battle mage always knows a few minor but highly effective spells, for just such a trial. I take it you too have a few tricks up your sleeve. Of course, like you said. They pause for a moment before continuing as a fearful wail pierces the air. When it dies away, they slowly trudge on. Just as intellectual exercise, I wonder what spell you would cast at me if we made it out of here without any more combat. I hope you're not implying that I would dream of killing you so that I could keep the treasure all to myself. Of course not, nor would I do that to you. It is merely an intellectual exercise. Well, in that case, purely as an intellectual exercise, I would probably cast a leech spell on you to take away your life force and heal myself. After all, there are brigands on the road between here and Silvanar, and the wounded battle mage with a valuable artifact would make a tempting target. I'd hate to survive Eldengrove merely to die in the open. That's a well-reasoned response. As for myself, again, not saying that I would ever do this, but I think a simple sudden electrical bolt would serve my purposes admirably. I agree about the danger of brigands, but don't forget we also have a potion of healing. I could easily slay you and heal myself to full capacity. Very true. It would end up a question then of whose spell was more effective at that instant. If our spells counteracted one another and I leached your life energy only to be crippled by your lightning bolt, then we could both be killed, or so near death that a mere potion of healing would scarcely help either one of us, let alone both. How ironic it would be if two scheming battle mages, not saying that we were scheming, but for the purpose of this intellectual exercise, were left on the brink of death, completely drained of magicka, with only one healing potion to choose from. Who would get it then? Logically, whoever drank it first, which in this case would be you since you're holding it. Now, what if one of us were injured but not killed? Logic would dictate that a scheming battle mage would take the potion, leaving the injured party to the mercy of the elements, I suppose. That does seem most sensible, but suppose that the battle mages, while certainly scheming types, had certain respect for one another. Perhaps in that case, the victorious one might, for instance, put the potion up on a tree near his or her gravely wounded victim. Then, when the wounded party had enough magicka replenished, he or she would be able to levitate to the tree branches and recover the potion. By that time, the victorious battle mage would have already collected the reward. They pause for a moment at the sound of something in the bushes nearby. Carefully, they climb across the branches of a tree to bypass it. I understand what you're saying, but it seems out of the character for both of our hypothetic scheming battle mages to allow his or her victim to live. Perhaps, but it's been my observation that most scheming battle mages enjoy the feeling of having bested someone in combat, and having that person alive to live with the humiliation. These hypothetical scheming battle mages sound... Daylight! Do you see it? The two scurry across the branch, dropping behind a bush so that we can no longer see them. We can, however, see a shimmering halo of sunlight. We made it. Indeed. There's a sudden explosion of electrical energy and a wild howling aura of red light, and then silence. After a few moments' pause, we hear someone climbing up a tree. It is Malvasian, putting the potion high up in the bough. He chuckles as he climbs back down, and the curtain drops. Epilogue. The curtain rises on a road to Sylvanar. A gang of bandits have surrounded Malvasian, who is propped up on his staff, barely able to stand. They pull his chest away from him with ease. What have we got here? Don't you know it ain't safe to be out on the road, all sick like you are? Why don't we help you with your load? Please, let me be. Go on, spellcaster. Fight us for it. I can't. Too weak. Suddenly, Inzaliah flies in, casting lightning bolts from her fingers at the bandits, who quickly scramble away. She lands on the ground and picks up the chest. Malvasian collapses, dying. Hypothetically, what if a battle mage cast a spell on another, which didn't harm him at once, but drained his life force and his magicka bit by bit, so he wouldn't know at the time, but feel confident enough to leave the potion of healing behind? A most treacherous battle mage she'd be. And, hypothetically, would she be likely to help her fallen foe so that she could enjoy the humiliation of him continuing to live? From my experience, hypothetically, no. She doesn't sound like a fool. As Inzaliah lugs the chest off towards Sylvanar and Malvasian expires on the stage, we drop the curtain. The Madness of Pelagius by Sathanes. The man who would be emperor of all Tamriel was born Thoris Pelagius Septim, a prince of the royal family of Wayrest in 3rd Era 119. At the end of the glorious reign of his uncle, Antiochus I, Wayrest had been showered by much preference during the years before Pelagius' birth, for King Magnus was Antiochus' favorite brother. It is hard to say when Pelagius' madness first manifested itself, for in truth, the first 10 years of his life were marked by much insanity in the land itself. When Pelagius was just over a year old, Antiochus died, and a daughter, Kintara, assumed the throne to the acclaim of all. Kintara II was Pelagius' cousin, and an accomplished mystic and sorceress. If she had sufficient means to peer into the future, she would have surely fled the palace. The story of the War of the Red Diamond has been told by many other scholarly journals, but as most historians agree, Kintara II's reign was usurped by her and Pelagius' son Uriel by the power of his mother Potema, the so-called Wolf Queen of Solitude. The year after her coronation, Kintara was trapped in Glenpoint and imprisoned in the imperial dungeons there. All of Tamriel exploded into warfare as Prince Uriel took the throne as Uriel III, and High Rock became the imprisoned empress's presence there. Because of the imprisoned empress's presence there was the location of some of the bloodiest battles. Pelagius' father, King Magnus, allied himself with his brother Sepphoris against the usurper emperor, and brought the wrath of Uriel III and Queen Potema down on Wayrest. Pelagius, his brothers and sisters, and his mother, Euthelia, fled to the Isle of Belphira. Euthelia was of the line of the Direni, and her family Mance is still located on that ancient isle even to this day. There's thankfully much written record of Pelagius' childhood in Belphiria, recorded by nurses and visitors. All who met him described him as a handsome, personable boy, interested in sport magic and music. Even assuming diplomats' lack of candor, Pelagius seemed, if anything, a blessing to the future of the Septim dynasty. When Pelagius was 8, Sepphoris slew Uriel III at the Battle of Ikedag and proclaimed himself Emperor Sepphoris I. For the next 10 years of his reign, Sepphoris battled Potema. Pelagius' first battle was the Siege of Solitude, which ended with Potema's death and the final end to the war. In gratitude, Sepphoris... In gratitude, Sepphoris placed Pelagius on the throne of Solitude. As King of Solitude, Pelagius' eccentricities of behavior began to be noticeable. As a favorable nephew of the Emperor, few diplomats to Solitude made critical commentary about Pelagius. For the first 2 years of his reign, Pelagius was at the very least noted for his alarming shifts in weight. 4 months after taking the throne, a diplomat from Ebonheart called Pelagius a hale and hearty soul with a heart so big it widens his waist. 5 months after that, the visiting princess of Firsthold wrote to her brother that the kings gripped my hand and it felt like I was being clutched by a skeleton. Pelagius is greatly emaciated indeed. Sepphoris never married and died childless 3 years after the Siege of Solitude. As the only surviving sibling, Pelagius' father, Magnus, left the throne of Wayrest and took residence at the imperial city as the Emperor Magnus I. Magnus was elderly, and Pelagius was his oldest living child, so the attention of Tamriel focused on Sentinel. By this time, Pelagius' eccentricities were... Sentinel? I thought he was in Solitude. By this time, Pelagius' eccentricities were becoming infamous. There are many legends about his acts as King of Sentinel, but a few well-documented cases exist. It is known that Pelagius locked the young princes and princesses of Sylvanar in his room with him, only releasing them when an unsigned declaration of war was slipped under the door. When he tore off his clothes during a speech he was giving at a local festival, his advisors apparently decided to watch him more carefully. On the orders of Magnus, Pelagius was married to the beautiful heiress of the ancient Dark Elf noble family, Kataraya Rathim. Nordic kings who marry Dark Elves seldom improve their popularity. There are 2 reasons most scholars give for the union. Magnus was trying to cement relations with Ebonheart, where the Rathim clan hailed. Ebonheart's neighbor, Mournhold, had been a historical ally of the Empire since the very beginning, and the royal consort of Queen Berenziah had won many battles in the War of the Red Diamond. Ebonheart had a poorly kept secret of aiding Uriel III and Potema. The other reason for the marriage was more personal. Kataraya was as shrewd a diplomat as she was beautiful. If any creature was capable of hiding Pelagius' madness, it was she. On the 8th of Second Seed, 3rd Era 145, Magnus I died quietly in his sleep. Juleth, Pelagius' sister, took over the throne of Solitude, and Pelagius and Kataraya rode to the imperial city to be crowned Emperor and Empress of Tamriel. It is said that Pelagius fainted when the crown was placed on his head, but Kataraya held him up so that only those closest to the thrones could see what had happened. Like so many Pelagius stories, this cannot be verified. Pelagius III never truly ruled Tamriel. Kataraya and the Elder Council made all the decisions and only tried to keep Pelagius from embarrassing all. Still, stories of Pelagius III's reign exist. It was said that when the Argonian ambassador from Blackrose came to court, Pelagius insisted on speaking in all grunts and squeaks, as that was the Argonians' natural language. It is known that Pelagius was obsessed with cleanliness, and many guests reported waking to the noise of an early morning scrub down of the imperial palace. The legend of Pelagius, while inspecting the servants' work, suddenly defecating on the floor to give them something to do, is probably apocryphal. When Pelagius began actually biting and attacking visitors to the imperial palace, it was decided to send him to a private asylum. Kataraya was proclaimed regent 2 years after Pelagius took the throne. For the next 6 years, the emperor stayed in a series of institutions and asylums. Traitors to the empire have many lies to spread about this period. Whispered stories of hideous experiments and tortures performed on Pelagius have almost become accepted as fact. The noble lady Kataraya became pregnant shortly after the emperor was sent away, and rumors of infidelity and even more absurd conspiracies to keep the sane emperor locked away ran amok. As Kataraya proved, her pregnancy came about after a visit to her husband's cell. With no other evidence, as loyal subjects, we are bound to accept the Empress's word on the matter. Her second child, who had reigned for many years as Uriel IV, was child of her union with her consort Lariat, and publicly acknowledged as such. On a warm night in Sun's Dawn, in his 34th year, Pelagius III died after a brief fever in his cell at the temple of Kinnereth on the Isle of Bethany. Kataraya I reigned for another 46 years before passing the scepter on to the only child she had with Pelagius, Cassander. Pelagius's wild behavior has made him perversely dear to the province of his birth and death. The second of Sun's Dawn, which may or may not be the anniversary of his death, records are not very clear, is celebrated as Mad Pelagius, the time when foolishness of all sorts is encouraged. And so, of the least desirable emperors in the history of the Septim dynasty, he has become one of the most famous ones.
The Asylum Ball was one of the first books I ever read, and so I have a special fondness for Pelagius myself. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to drop the Dwarven Claymore. It pains me to do so, but... I wouldn't mind. You know what? I can always drop it later. I don't think this is the part that I think there's another part to this that I haven't seen yet. How do you like that? I don't know how I think I'm going to make these weights work. Although 30,000 versus 48, this seems to be a better deal. Ooh, I gotta be careful. I don't think that's gonna be the room that I want. Did I actually get them? Yes. Something spotted me. Alright, this looks a little more promising. Yep.
I shall enjoy watching you take your last breath. Your end is here.
Nice. Most of that's not worth taking just because of the weight. Glass dagger on the other hand. Works for me. It's very unlikely I'm going to be able to pick up whatever comes up out of this, but... yeah, I'd love to take that, but... I suppose if I get really desperate, I can always come back and clean things out. So I can pretty clearly see Urshilaku Camp on the map, but through the ruins. Avoid the Daedra. No, that's fine. Alright, my goal.
You come to talk? Then talk, Outlander. You want to speak with Sul Matul? You want to speak with Nibani Mesa? Have they sent for you? If they have not sent for you, then you will not speak to them. You are an outlander, and Sul Matul is our chief, and Nibani Mesa is our wise woman. They will not speak to you.
Talk too much, Outlander.
Alright, so... let me just double check what I need to do here.
Spymaster Caius Cassades, Knight-Errant of the Imperial Order of Blades, Director of Imperial Intelligence in Vardenfell District, Eastern Provinces. I have the honor to acquaint you with His Majesty's wishes concerning Caius, an individual of no rank or consequence.
Hey!
Caius has been released from prison by His Majesty's authority and sent to you with this missive. Caius is to be entered as a novice into the Imperial Order of the Blades, and is to serve under your absolute authority as you shall see fit, except insofar as His Majesty's particular wishes are concerned. His Majesty's particular wishes are as follows. A local superstition holds that an orphan, an outcast, a youth born on a certain day to uncertain parents, shall unite all of the tribes of the Dunmer, drive out the invaders of Morrowind, and shall re-establish the ancient laws and customs of the Dark Elven nations. This orphan, an outcast, is called in legend the Nerevarine, and is supposed to be a reincarnation of the long-dead Dunmer general and first counselor, Lord Inderel Nerevar. Caius has the appearance of meeting the conditions of this local superstition. Therefore, it is His Majesty's desire that Caius shall, insofar as possible, satisfy the conditions of this ancient prophecy, and shall become the Nerevarine. Though this prophecy is indeed only an ancient local superstition, His Majesty has taken counsel on this matter with his most expert informants and confidants, and His Majesty is persuaded that the prophecy is genuine and significant, either in its entirety or in its several parts, and he earnestly demands that you treat this matter with the utmost seriousness. Certain aspects of this ancient superstition are described at the end of this document, and further materials will be forthcoming by courier at the earliest occasion. It will, of course, be necessary that you acquaint yourself better with the details of this ancient superstition from your local sources. Since this matter intimately concerns Caius, it is expected that you will employ him to gather information on this subject. His Majesty has taken great personal interest in the legends and prophecies of the Nerevarine and eagerly awaits your reports. I have the honor to be, sir, your most humble and obedient service, Glabrio Millennius, personal secretary to the Emperor.
Alright, I'm really just looking for more information on... Oh... I think I put that information away. Alright.
Caius promoted me to apprentice rank in the Blades and gave me the Emperor's secret orders and told me to read them. The Emperor thinks the Nerevarine prophecies are genuine and that I may be the Nerevarine. I am being sent to Urshilaku Camp to speak with the heads of the Nerevarine cult, Sul-Matul and Nibani Masaya. I'm to tell them my story and tell them to test me against the Nerevarine prophecies and then report back to Caius. Somitius Vinius gave me a selection of potions, Grillius Fontanian gave me a selection of scrolls, Nuleno Tedas gave me directions to Urshilaku Camp. The camp is due north from Margan, but high ridges lie in the way. Follow the Foyada Banidad, a deep ravine just north of Margan, northwest to the sea. A shipwreck at the sea mouth of the ravine is a landmark. Swim east around the headland, pass east through the ruins of Asur Banich Shrine. Urshilaku Camp lies east of the ruins in a low hollow.
Alright, so the problem I'm running into is I know there are some protocols.
No, I don't think so. Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find it.
Do you want to offer me a gift, Outlander? Then bring me a quamag egg, for I am hungry.
I'll be right back. Alright, so this is a massive breach of protocol. But I think I'm just going to accept the,
What is it, peasant?
Something's after me.
There's someone watching me. I can tell. Say what you want or go away.
Alright. So I think I've got the layout. Oh, it doesn't say,
No, I don't think so.
Alright. Let me just make sure I get the names again. So it's Sul-Matul and Yabani Mesa.
I don't have a lot of patience for questions. Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find it.
Do you want something? What, Outlander? Why do you disturb?
Alright, so the wise woman's hut is the best I can hope
Too
for.
much, Outlander.
You are in the wrong place, Outlander. Leave now. It's not a matter for idle talk with strangers. Why should I trust you, Outlander? Do you want to offer me a gift? Good. I am not proud. I like gold. This is the custom you Outlanders call a bribe, yes?
Well,
you are too kind, Caius. I can't refuse such a friendly gesture. This is a strange dream indeed. The Shamat Dagoth speaks to you in the voice of prophecy. He curses the three betrayers, the three false gods, Vivek, Almalexia, Sothasil. He calls you to drive the Outlanders from Morrowind. This is a very strong dream, very cunning, a dream to stir hearts. This is a very good lie. He called you Nerevar, and the dream of the Nerevarine is very strong and very dangerous for you and for my people.
tell me about Dagoth-Ur.
Dagoth-Ur is the devil and the enemy. Dagoth-Ur and his beasts and servants are the source of many evils that beset the Dunmer on Morrowind. Dagoth-Ur dwells in fiery caverns beneath Red Mountain, served by his kin called ash vampires, and by legions of deformed monsters.
Tell me about Morrowind.
Morrowind is the ancient homeland of the Dunmer people. Once long ago, this was our land, but now the creatures from the west have come, and the House Dunmer have meekly submitted to their rule. Now, in the lands of the Morrowind, only the Ashlanders still lead the free, reverent lives of honor of the ancient Dunmer.
Tell me about Nerevar.
In ancient days, the Deep Elves and a great host of Outlanders from the west came stealing the land of the Dunmer. In that time, Nerevar was the great Khan and the war leader of the House people, but he honored the ancient spirits and tribal law and became as one of us. So, when Nerevar pledged upon the great ring of the ancestors, one clan under Moon and Star, to honor the ways of the spirits and rights of the land, all the tribes joined the House people fighting the great battle at Red Mountain. Though many Dunmer tribesmen and housemen died at Red Mountain, the Dwemer were defeated and their evil magics destroyed, and the Outlanders were driven from the land. But after this great victory, the power-hungry Khans of the great houses slew Nerevar in secret, set themselves up as gods, and forgot Nerevar's promises to the tribes. But Nerevar will come again and cast down the false gods by the power of his ring, and will make good on his promises, honor the spirits, and drive the outsiders from this land.
Tell me more about Red Mountain.
Red Mountain is the great mountain of fire in the center of Vardenfell. The outer slopes are steep and rugged, and the crater is deep and filled with burning rock. Beasts and servants of the devil Dagoth-Ur live on Red Mountain. The settled people built a magical barrier called Ghost Fence to keep the evils inside. Within the Ghost Fence, rain never falls and sun never shines. The only weather is red and deadly ash blight.
Tell me about the Urshilaku.
The Urshilaku are the Ashlanders of the northern Ashlands in the West Gash. I am the wise woman of the Urshilaku, and Ashkan Sul-Matul is our chief, a brave and respected war leader, and the warrior protector of the Nerevarine cult.
What about the camp?
This is Urshilaku Camp, Outlander. The Imperial legions are mighty warriors. No one can defeat them when they march in rows in open fields. But here, in our ashlands and wild places, they are no match for us.
Tell me about the Nerevarine prophecies.
This is not a matter for idle talk with strangers. Why should I trust you, Outlander?
I will listen, Outlander, but make it quick.
See if the bribery can still work.
This is suitable, Caius. What does the Outlander have to say to an Urshilaku of the Nerevarine prophecies? I say I fulfill the Nerevarine prophecies and wish to speak to Sul Matul and Yabani Mesa. I do not believe what I am hearing. You think that you are the Nerevarine and you wish to speak to Sul Matul and Yabani Mesa? You do not look like the Nerevarine, but you do not look like the Nerevarine, but you do not speak like a fool or a madman. This is a puzzle. I will tell you. Go speak with Zabamund in his yurt. He is the Gulakan, Sul Matul's champion, and he will decide what is right. If Zabamund gives you permission, then you may enter the Ashkan's yurt and speak with Sul Matul. I've been told to go speak with Zabamund, Gulkan, Sul Matul's champion, in his Zabamund's yurt. If Zabamund gives me permission, then I may enter the Ashkan's yurt and speak with Sul Matul.
It's like dealing with your carrier pigeon company.
Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find it.
Talk, Outlander. Speak with respect, and I will listen. Sul Matul will not talk to you. Yabani Mesa will not talk to you. You have no standing among us, Outlander.
What kind of a gift would give me standing?
It's our custom among strangers. We honor this custom with gold. Well, Caius, if you insist, I must not refuse. The Nerevarine prophecies are not for outlanders. Why should Sul Matul and Yabani Mesa speak to you about such things? Who are you, that we should trust you? All of this may be true, and I'm sure that you think it is very important, but it has nothing to do with us, at least not the way you tell it. I'm sorry, but I will not let you bother Sul Matul or Yabani Mesa with all of this. You are not an unworthy opponent. I hear honor in your words and courage in your heart. I would regret killing you, but regret even more should you kill me. Very well, perhaps Sul Matul will be angry with me, but I think I can bear that. Go to the Ashkan's yurt and speak with Sul Matul. Ask him your questions, and I will and tell him I have sent you.
A little anticlimactic.
I've persuaded Zabamund that I must speak to Sul Matul. Now I must go to the Ashkan's yurt and tell Sul Matul that Zabamund has sent me.
Is there something you need?
So my champion Zabamund sent you to talk with me about the Nerevarine prophecies. Go ahead, Caius, talk. I am very curious. Do you want to offer me a gift? Good. I am not proud. I like gold. This is a custom you outlanders call a bribe, yes? You think you fulfill the Nerevarine prophecies. You may wish to be tested to see. You wish to be tested to see if you are the Nerevarine. No outlander may join the Nerevarine cult. If you were a clan friend, an adopted member of the Ashlander tribes, then perhaps. I have an initiation rite in mind. If you pass this rite, I will adopt you as a clan friend of the Ashlanders. And then I will submit you to Yabani Mesa, our wise woman, who is skilled in oracles and mysteries, who will test you against the prophecies. To be adopted into the tribe, you must undergo a harrowing. In a harrowing, you will be judged by the spirits and ancestors to see if you are worthy. Go to the Urshilaku burial caverns and fetch me Sol Senepul's bonebiter bow. Sel Senepul was my father, and his spirit guards his bone mold longbow deep in the burial caverns. Return to me with this bow, and I will adopt you into the Ashlander tribes as a clan friend.
Where are they?
The burial caverns lie to the south-southeast of the camp, a north-facing door in a little hill halfway between us and the slopes of Red Mountain. Go north from the camp to the water and then turn east. At a rock cairn on the beach, turn and head straight south until you find the door. The spirits of our ancestors guard the caverns. They will attack and they will kill you if they can. Force your way past them or evade them, get the bow, and return to prove your worthiness.
Tell me more about Nerevar.
In ancient days, the Deep Elves had a great host of outlanders.
We've already heard this. North to the water.
Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I do now.
If nothing else, they just made a whole bunch of money off of me. Actually, you know what? Drat. I was hoping I'd get the bribe money back. Alright, well, here's the water. East and then find a rock cairn. It says it needs to be on the beach. I'm gonna guess they're not talking about this. This is a little too, this is definitely a stretch if I want to count that. That looks more like it. Well, see, now that I'm taking a look at all the other shapes, it's not entirely convincing. Alright, anyways. It says go straight south, so we'll work with that. That was worth it, because those creeps are looking pretty banged up. do this. Alright, so from the rock cairn. Straight south until you find the door. That looks like it. This is intriguing. Is that a fallen silt strider? Looks like it might be. Lando ancestral tomb. Damn it. It did say straight south from the cairn, so So, I want to find the best candidate for this cairn first, because we definitely saw a, Alright, well there it is. So, just to double check. Straight south until you find the door. I will not deviate from straight south. I'm gonna go over the hills until I find whatever I need. Short of levitating, obviously. Definitely a different tomb. the name. Yeah, I'm defiling the tomb, whatever. I'm the Nerevarine, I do what I want. I was promised spirits. There seem to be some upper levels that might have some something for me to check out, but for now I think we're just going to we'll do the trial without too much adventuring. First test is to see whether or not I can jump. Don't. No, that was the breath. I thought I found another entrance. So I'm mildly curious if there's some mechanism that's supposed to connect these two. The better way just seems to be to jump from this end here, but the sudden drop tends to interfere. I can levitate as an absolute last resort. So maybe I just go from standing position. Alright, that champion was not playing around. Oh boy. Well, shoot. Feel a little using a master's tool for kiting, but there you have it. Should be paying attention to the weapons. I also need to hope I have enough carrying capacity for that bow. Again, I'm sure there's many interesting things underwater, but Alright. Time for some assistance. Curiosity's gotten the better of me. Find one of the cheap ones. Alright, what's your story? Well, you just have funny light on you too. Definitely a really interesting looking spot. Alright, I really want that book. You know what, the levitates are worth it. Restoration, nice.
The Four Suitors of Beniath by Joel Yolavis. Up until he was 10 years old, Oin Parnaphasis was in an elite group of the very best families of Nisus. They went to the very best tailors, shared the same tutors, played in the same exclusive company. When his mother died and his father discovered that the money they had been living on was based on a thief's salary, he suddenly found himself on a very different kind of society, one that he had been ill-equipped to deal with. They were poor. Oin eventually learned to make a living at the only skill that he seemed to be well suited for, gardening. In time, he had grown an impressive garden of willow anther, gold cannet, chokeweed, white bloatroot, and trauma shrubs. He had also grown himself into a remarkably uninteresting man. Aside from his gardening, he had little to say for himself. Unlearned, uncharismatic, unathletic, uncoordinated, and yet he yearned. Specifically, he yearned for a girl that he had known before all his trouble, A sweet thing with curly locks and a joyous laugh named Benethia Gorgoth. Once when at play, he had pushed a bully away who was trying to hurt her, and the look of appreciation she gave him was enough to make all of his days since then worth their while. As he tended his garden one springtide, not very many years ago, he heard some people talking through the thick, tall trauma shrubs about the marriage of Sedura Indiril Pavlek Mamuna, one of the wealthiest and most respected nobles in Nisus, and Sergio Benathia Gorgoth. His heart fell. She'd found another, a mere 9 years since she had given him that look while at play. As spring turned into summer and summer into fall, Oin began to sell his herbs, including some to Cana Yakin Bale, a prominent healer in town. He had been tutor to both Benita and Oin, and told the young man that the lady's husband was not very well. Oin held back his happiness and continued on his errands. Not long afterward, Sedura Indiril Pavlek Mamuna fell ill and died, despite all of the skills of the great healers, including Yakin Bale. When Oin came to deliver the herbs that day, he said, "If you are still in communication with Benethia, please give her my sympathies." "Nachao," said Yakin, "if I could get a word in with all her counselors. They are trying to find her a new husband, and she has made it clear that she will only marry the strongest man in Morrowind." "Who is that?" asked Oin. "Horath the Strong," replied Yakin. "It is said that he can lift a wagon with but a forefinger and a thumb." "You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own strength," said Oin. "I beg you to teach it to me now." "Very well," replied Yakin, "but in return I want your next season's worth of trauma root, all to myself." Oin agreed, and Yakin taught him the spell to fortify his strength. It took him some time to master it, visualizing magicka streaming through his body, pumping through the very fibers of his muscles for a time, giving him the strength far beyond the puny power nature had intended. When Oin met Horath on the street of Nisus, he cast the spell and challenged him to a duel of strength. "I'm Horath the Strong," said Horath the Strong predictably. "Witness as I lift this wagon with but my thumb and forefinger." And he did so. "I'm Nimlam the Mighty," said Oin, taking some artistic liberty. "Witness as I lift the stable that houses the wagon with but my forefinger." And he too did so. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The strongest man alive was in the province. Oin went to visit his friend, Yakin Bale. Her lady Benita has heard of the strength of Nimlam the Mighty, and has said that she was mistaken. She was not looking for a man of strength to marry, but a man of intelligence, a great scholar, the greatest in all Morrowind. "Who is that?" asked Oin. "Kina Warfell Thomason," replied Yakin. "It is said that he can best any man or woman in a battle of wits." "You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own intelligence," said Oin. "I beg you to teach it to me now." "Very well," replied Yakin. "But in return, I want your next season's worth of white bloat root, all to myself." Oin agreed, and for the next couple of weeks, Yakin taught him to use the spell and trained him in its use. He taught him how to entrench the mind for sudden assault of awareness and aptitude that would assail it, how to give himself to the sudden thoughts and theorems that would invade his consciousness. When he met Warfell Thompson in the Mages Guild of Nisus, he cast a spell and gave the challenge. "I'm Kenna Warfell Thompson, and I can prove that Akatosh, Nirn, and Oblivion are one," said Warfell, writing out the mathematical formula that showed it was so. "I'm Kena Zombel Makafa, and I can prove that you do not exist," said Oin. He wrote out the mathematical formula, which proved correct, and Kena Warfell Thompson vaporized on the spot. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The most intelligent man alive was in the province. Oin went to visit his friend Yakin Bale. Her lady Benita has heard of the intelligence of Kena Zombel Makafa, and she said that she was mistaken. She is not looking for a man of intelligence to marry, but a man of endurance, a rock, the greatest in all Morrowind. "Who is that?" asked Oin. "I would say Master Kumbova," said Yakin. "They say that he can stand in blue flames for 20 minutes. "You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own endurance," said Oin. "I beg you to teach it to me now." "Very well," replied Yakin, "but in return I want your next season's worth of chokeweed all to myself." Oin agreed, and for the next several weeks he learned the spell to make his endurance like that of the oldest stone. He learned how to shrug off the effects of frost, poison, fire, and charges of lightning, pulling the pain into a reservoir of magicka and expelling it. Lesson learned, he came across Master Kumbova at the Madak trade house. "My name is Master Kumbova," said the fellow, nudging the witch next to him. "Kenelels, cast a ball of blue flame for me," and he sat in the inferno of flame for 20 minutes before he left. "Master Kumbova, my name is Master Vomp," said Oin. "Kenelels, cast a ball of blue flames for me." Oin sat in the inferno of blue fire for very nearly an hour before he left. The word went out quickly throughout Morrowind. The toughest man alive was in the province. Oin went to visit his friend, Yakin Dale. Her lady Benita has heard of the endurance of Master Vomp, he said, not entirely approving of Oin's latest sobriquet. And she has said that she was mistaken. She was not looking for a man of endurance to marry, but a man of agility, a nimble acrobat, the greatest in all Morrowind. Who is that? Asked Oin. I would say Vunkrazot Prif, said Yakin. They say that he is the greatest shield blocker and pickpocket in Morrowind. You can teach me a spell that will fortify my own agility, said Oin. I beg you to teach it to me now. Very well, replied Yakin, but in return, I want your next season's worth of gold cannet all to myself. Oin agreed, and Yakin taught him the spell that would fire his impulses with magicka. Over several weeks, he learned how to supplant his own natural energy with the spells, how to view the world at a slower pace a man with advanced agility sees. In time, Oin came upon Vunkrazot in a field outside the city, doing his regular exercises. Oin cast a spell and approached the acrobat. Ah, behold the power of the amazing Vunkrazot Prif, said the aforementioned, and prompted his sparring partner to attack with his sword. He blocked the blows effortlessly with a shield for 10 minutes, and then revealed afterwards that he had pickpocketed the young man's purse. Very impressive, Sir Prif. Now behold the power of the remarkable Gazolf Mo, said Oin, and prompted Prif's sparring partner to attack him with his sword. After 20 minutes of blocking the man's blows with his shield, he revealed that he had pickpocketed Fuskrot's Prif's purse. The word went out quickly through Morrowind. The most agile man alive was in the province. Oin went to visit his friend Yakin Bale. The door was closed this time, and he heard voices within. Have you heard of the remarkable Gazolf Mo? Yakin Bale was asking. He sounds like a very promising suitor. The truth is, Kenna, that I have no more interest in him than I had in Nimlam the Mighty, Kenna Zombel, Makafa, or Master Vomp, replied a feminine voice that seemed familiar to Oin. I will have to invent a new test for suitors, while I search for my true love. Don't you wish to marry the strongest, most intelligent, toughest, most agile suitors? Asked the old healer. No, not at all, said the woman. I had to make some kind of test to rebuff the advances of so many men interested in my money and the money of my late husband. The truth is, I've never forgotten the young boy who was so kind to me when I was a little girl, and so brave fighting off the bullies. His name was Oin Pornificasius. Oin burst into the room and was reunited with Benita. They were married at once. A week later, he returned to Yakin Dale and learned how to fortify his personality in exchange for next season's worth of Willow Anther. Then they lived happily ever after.
Hi. I'm a little curious what's down here. Nice. I may not be able to keep it the whole way, but I'll try. Alright, everything's still intact. Just want to do a save that doesn't have me immediately facing enemies. That is worth something, but I just don't think I have the space for it. 27 versus... Wow, that's only 4. So I'm definitely not going to have space for the bow. I'll also stop robbing the mummies for now. Probably should have paid closer attention to exactly where I was supposed to be going in the tomb.
Sumatul sent me to the Urshilaku burial caverns to fetch Senipul's Bonebiter bow, since Senipul was Sumatul's father and his spirit guards the Spone Mold longbow deep in the burial caverns. If I return to Sumatul with the bow, he will adopt me into the Urshilaku tribe as a clan friend. And then Sumatul will send me to the wise woman, Nibani Mesa, to be tested against the Nerevarine prophecies.
So because I'm going to be retracing my steps, I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything obvious in the area. Sujama that sits in the rock. I'm sure there's a story about why that male was down there. So technically I haven't seen what's up here. And I won't use a potion to find out. Oh, there's still levels. It's a little bit harder to justify this one if I don't think the bow's going to be in here because I don't exactly have the carrying capacity for anything else. But I'll at least take a look. If nothing else, I'm just going through this systematically. Oh joy. Oh, how'd you... Come on, you can do it. There we go. This is character building. Elite hide is a little too heavy for what I want. Oh man. All right. Easier to sell the armor. Yeah. No, I thought I was going to take damage. I will admit, I am a little curious. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's exactly what I needed to. Yes. You know what? A gift. Thanks for that. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, it's a two-handed. I was just going to say this would be a fantastic replacement for the Daedric longsword. Actually, yeah, it does slightly more damage, but because it's two-handed. Alright, where do I find the extra 11 weight? Alright, I gotta keep the Daedra hearts. approve of this trial so far. So when I look at my armor, I don't know if there's a glass shield. We specifically chose the boots that we're wearing. So unless there's some kind of enchantment, I've got exactly what I want. And then obviously I'm just running with this weapon because it's one that lets me improve skills. I wish I had Magicka to deal with you. Some work, although I should have prioritized it's the lockpick that did it, huh? Alright. I'm probably just gonna have to ditch the helm at some point, so I'll put it on the ground for starters. Crazy about how I've been wasting all this levitate, but I'm not sure how else to handle it, so. Alright, here's it. Sure. Unfortunately, I am no closer to the bow. was just thinking if I have some kind of fortify strength, that would be, yeah, 4-4 is going to take me over the limit, so... Alright, now I would have thought that this is where our objective was. Because I don't believe we can go any further in here. But I suppose the lesson might be... Got him. Before I go too much further. Yes, that is it. And now we make our trip back. And it would be safe to say I am a very happy Dunmer after that journey. This nonsense I can pick up. None of it. Shouldn't have even tried. Sure, I could take the stairs like a normal person, but why? Alright, and I rather suspect there won't be anything down here for me, but, just in case. Just because I don't want to go in the water doesn't mean I'm gonna pass up opportunities to get things. but I'm certainly not going to set up camp here. Hello, Netch. I keep mistaking these. These are not the bull Netches, I believe. I believe these are the, I guess, matriarchs or Betty Netch. Should also be careful not to... Yeah, too late. Now, fortunately, my new glass greaves are hidden under my dress. So they won't know where I got them from or even that I have them.
What do you want something? Why do you
So, Outlander, have you completed the initiation rite? This is my father's Bonebiter bow. You have completed the initiation rite, and I name you Caius, clan friend of the Ashlanders. Keep my father's bow, but bear it with honor. You are a friend of our tribe, and may rest in any Urshilaku bed, but do not harm other tribe members or take their things. And now I will fulfill my other promise. Go to the wise woman's yurt, and Nibani Messiah shall examine you and test you against the Nerevarine prophecies.
So, you say any Urshilaku bed, huh?
I'm very happy to make your acquaintance.
Thanks.
Welcome, favored guest. My yurt and hearth are yours.
So I've heard.
Speak to the wise woman. They know the lore of dreams.
Is there something I can do for you?
Remember me?
Go ahead. Do you have questions about the Nerevarine prophecies? Have you come to see if you pass the test? Do you think you are the Nerevarine?
Well, we already talked about that, didn't we?
There are many Nerevarine prophecies, and they suggest many things. Aspect and uncertain parents, the moon and star, sleepers, 7 curses, the curse's bane, the prophecy of the stranger, the prophecy of the 7 visions, the lost prophecies. Ask me of these things, if you are patient, if you would be wise, or if you are impatient to know, just ask, do I pass the test of the Nerevarine prophecies? Go ahead, Outlander. I am the wise woman. Ask your questions, and I will answer.
First of all, tell me about the aspect with uncertain parents.
If what you say is true, then you are indeed born on a certain day of uncertain parents. This is part of the prophecy, but many have the same birthday, and many are not sure of their parents. It is interesting, but it does not make you the Nerevarine.
And the moon and star?
Legend says that Indoril Nevarar's family standard bore the moon and star, and Nerevarar's armor and weapons bore this sign. Some say he bore a moon and star birthmark. Some say that he has a magic ring marked with a moon and star. Others say that he was born under a moon and star. In any case, I think the moon and star is the mark of the Nerevarine. And you do not have this mark, so you are not the Nerevarine.
What about sleepers?
Rumors say that in the towns, mad cultists called sleepers are attacking people, saying that Dagoth-Ur has awakened and will drive the Outlanders from Morrowind. Perhaps it is just a coincidence, but I think it is a sign of the Nerevarine. Not necessarily a sign that you are the Nerevarine. Perhaps the time of the Nerevarine has come, and you have come at the same time. This is not passing a test, but it may mean that you have some part to play in the coming of the Nerevarine.
What about the 7 curses?
It is another Ashlander prophecy of the Nerevarine. It is called the 7 Curses of the Sharmat, but I do not know it, and I know of no one who does. It may be lost. Such things happen. A wise woman dies or forgets, or a clan is wiped out. Perhaps someone knows, but is keeping it a secret. Perhaps it is in one of those many books your settled people, books of your settled peoples. I've heard that the dissident priests of the temple may have such books.
What about the stranger?
This is the best known of the Nerevarine prophecies. We call it the stranger. When the earth is sundered and skies choke black, and sleepers serve the 7 curses, to the hearth there comes a stranger, journeyed far 'neath moon and star. Though stark-born and sire uncertain, his aspect marks his certain fate. Wicked stalk him, righteous curse him, prophets speak, but all deny. Many trials make manifest the stranger's fate, the curse's bane. Many touchstones try the stranger, many fall, but one remains.
What about the 7 visions?
The full title of the prophecy is 7 Visions of 7 Trials of the Incarnate. Listen, and I will tell you the verses. 7 trials, what he puts his hand to, that shall be done. What is left undone, that shall be done. First trial, on a certain day to uncertain parents, incarnate moon and star reborn. Second trial, neither blight nor age can harm him, the curse of flesh before him flies. Third trial, in caverns dark azurous eye sees, and makes to shine the moon and star. Fourth trial, stranger's voice unites the houses, 3 halls call him Horator. Fifth trial, a stranger's hand unties the Velothi, 4 tribes call him Nerevarine. Sixth trial, he honors blood of the tribe unmourned, he eats their sin and is reborn. Seventh trial, his mercy frees the cursed false gods, binds the broken, redeems the mad. One destiny, he speaks the law for Veleth's people, he speaks for their land and names them great. What does the prophecy mean? It tells us who the Nerevarine will be, and the trials that he must undergo before he fulfills his destiny. Some parts I understand, some parts I do not. I will answer your questions as best I can, but I cannot pretend to understand it all.
We'll get to that in a minute, but let's focus more on some of the others. Let's talk about the Lost Prophecies before we carry on.
There are many Nerevarine prophecies that have been lost, 7 curses, and others. Some are forgotten, some hidden, some deliberately lost. The wise women are the memory of the Velothi people, but it is a faulty memory, and we are mortal, and our knowledge dies with us. We hear the dissident priests of the temple study our Nerevarine prophecies and record them in books. Such written words never die. You must go to them and ask for these books, and bring what you find to me.
Alright, and let's talk about the trials, because I have a feeling that you're going to want me to bring you a book before you declare me who I really am.
The Incarnate cannot fail. What others have tried, he will do. What Nerevar started, the Incarnate shall finish.
Right, we've already heard that. The first trial.
This refers to your birth sign, to your birth on a certain day to uncertain parent, just like in the Stranger prophecy. In Tamriel, persons born under certain constellations are said to be fortunate in their aspects. Such persons are often blessed or cursed with remarkable abilities or weaknesses as a result of the magical conjunctions of celestial influences.
And the second?
I'm not sure what this means. Will the Nerevarine come as a spirit who is not harmed by blight or age? I don't know. I think the curse of flesh means the blight disease corpus, which causes terrible, distorted growths on its victims. Perhaps the Nerevarine can heal this disease. Perhaps that will be a sign of the Nerevarine.
What about the third trial?
In legend, there is a shrine to Azura called the Cavern of the Incarnate. There are secrets I may not tell you about this cavern. Do not ask.
What about the fourth?
A Horator is a war leader chosen when Dunmer great houses must put aside their normal feuds and unite against a common enemy. This has not happened since the Empire invaded our land.
The fifth.
The Ashlanders are sometimes called the Velothi for the prophet Veloth who guided us to this land many, many centuries ago. And the 4 tribes are the 4 tribes of Vradenfell, the Urshilaku, the Emusa, the Zainab, and the Arabinisim. Benim son. It would truly be a miracle to unite these 4 tribes who have so long raided and warred against one another, but the Nerevarine must be the one who performs miracles. It must be one who performs miracles.
Tell me about the Urshilaku.
The Urshilaku are the Ashlanders of the northern Ashlands in the West Gash. I am the wise woman of the Urshilaku, and Ashkan Sul Matul is our chief, a brave and respected war leader, and warrior protector of the Nerevarine cult.
What about the Emusa?
The Emusa of the Grayslands are mild and peace-loving. The wise woman of the Emusa, Sin Mirpal, is also their Ashkan.
And the Zainab.
The Ashlanders of the Zainab are sly and crafty. Their camp is in the interior of the Grayslands.
And the final group.
They love themselves and their weapons above all else. Their Ashkan, Ulta Paul, is cruel and ambitious, and his Gulakans are just like him. Their wise woman, Menari, is cautious and reasonable. Seek her counsel. Don't waste your speech on the Warkans.
What about the 6th trial?
I'm not sure. The tribe on Morin may mean the 6th house, House Dagoth, which was exterminated after the Battle of Red Mountain. But it may also mean the Dwemer, or the Dwarves, as Westerners call them, and eating sin is doing atonement for another's sin.
And the 7th?
The cursed false gods must be the tribunal, and they are surely false gods, evil sorcerers and necromancers. They murdered Nerevar and might set themselves up as gods. Binds the Broken must refer to Nerevar's broken promise to the Ashlanders to honor the ways of the spirits and rights of the land.
And one destiny.
Veloth's people are Dunmer, all Dunmer, Ashlander and Great House. The last time the Velothi were united were with Nerevar at the Battle of Red Mountain. Now Nerevar will come once again and unite the Dunmer. He will restore Morrowind to the Dunmer and restore the former greatness of the Velothi people.
And do I pass the test?
You are not the Nerevarine. You are one who may become the Nerevarine. It is a puzzle and a hard one, but you have found some of the pieces, and you may find more. Do you choose to be the Nerevarine? Then seek the lost prophecies among the dissident priests of the temple. Find the lost prophecies, bring them to me, and I will be your guide. And take these copies of the Stranger and the 7 Visions. Now I have told you all I know. Go, think on what I've told you and what must be done.
I see this land suits you. We welcome you freely, Outlander.
Alright, some journal articles.
Nibani Masaya agrees that my aspect, my birth sign, and my uncertain parentage fit with the Nerevarine prophecies, but that is not sufficient proof that I am the Nerevarine. She also believes that the Nerevarine should bear the mark of the moon and star, the mark of Indrel, Nerevar's family standard. She believes there's some connection between the recent attacks by mad cultists called Sleepers and the Nerevarine prophecies. She recited a version of the Nerevarine prophecies she knows as the Stranger. She also recited 7 visions of the 7 trials of the Incarnate. The wise women know that some of the Nerevarine prophecies have been lost, but the dissident priests of the temple study the Ashlander Nerevarine prophecies and record them in books. Perhaps the lost prophecies can be found there. Nibani Mesa has asked me to go to the dissident priests and get them to show me the books and to tell her what I find there. This sounds like something to mention to Caius. Maybe he'll know how to contact the dissident priests. Nibani Mesa says that I am not the Nerevarine, but I may become the Nerevarine. It seems that she is willing to help me unravel the Nerevarine prophecies and my part in them. She tells me to seek the lost prophecies among the dissident priests of the temple. If I bring these lost prophecies to her, she will be my guide, and she will give me copies of the and she gave me copies of the Nerevarine prophecies called The Stranger and the 7 Visions. Now it is time to report back to Caius.
Alright, I have one last thing I want to do before we wrap up.
well met.
All right. There's a little tiny bit that I can do. No, maybe not. Well, I tried. No, before I do that. Still over encumbered, hey? Not even really going to try to be all that organized with it. I'm just going to dump as much as I can on the ground, and we'll sort it out another time. Alright, I can still move. This is gonna mess with my filing system. Yep. Are they inside each other? Nope, that's fine. But they are at the same level, so I'm gonna need to find a new place to stack things. It's as good as any. As for the rest, I should be able to. Well, if I couldn't sell the. Some two. Okay. Yeah, it's not as effective. All right. And with that in mind, we will continue on with our mission next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.